Yeah, if you can, then the bumze, if you to put the substance in the bumba, so there are again special preparation of getting this bumze. If not, you can just put saffron. I think that's also okay. Okay, so this, so in that way, then preparing your mind with the sense of renunciation and bodhicitta, and then preparing the altar as the support of your practice. So then after that, then you're doing these lineage prayers. So this lineage prayer is all about that, to give us the sense of authenticity of the teaching. It's not being composed by anyone. It is passed on from our Avalokiteshvara to Gelongma Pelmo, all the way to our present root teacher. So in that way, feel the authenticity of this on the lineage and the practice. Then when you do this refuge and bodhicitta, so what you should visualize is and another preparation is, as this is a outer tantra practice, what you should be is cleanliness is important. So you can take showers as many times as you want, or wear clean clothes, shower, and so this part is important. And also the diet, what kind of diet that you should have is also another factor. Jorwinin Shachangdang Gozong Lapuk Sodans. So on the before that preparing part, so you should eat meat or drink alcohol, gozong, and not garlic or onion and all this, and even the radish also lapuk laso bodang. Then even is saying sesame, till, and then you gotta say hangma. So not to eat leftover foods. And till the sema rang katunam pangs, consciously then when you're eating, also zed denchik sas. So that noon, when you're eating that yesterday, eating the lunch, so that one, make sure that if you're just by yourself, put all the whatever you want to eat in front of you, and then you have to eat in one sitting. You cannot just get up and bring something and all this. So make sure that whatever is there you want to eat or drink, especially eating in front of you, keep everything there, and then you can eat that until 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock slowly. I'm just joking. So in one sitting, you have to eat your lunch in one sitting. Then that's called denchiba. And then so when you eat that also, kaze longche piche oma hongi satong tu zir jingi labne rani tuji chembol chepi tsuldu longche. Then when you're eating also, you think that you first bless it with Om Ahum, and also you think yourself as Avalokiteshvara and think that now I'm offering this to Avalokiteshvara and partake the food or drink that you drink. Judge. Then when you're reciting the mantra, whether you're doing the long Dharani mantra or Om Mani Padme Hum mantra. So that time, nga depi tengwa mazo ki bardu barla litba dang, titba dang, oglung dang, tamel gi tam dang, norne hakshen gi nga de bala so ba chungna nyere chashin khas shalwar jawoj. So then so until you complete one mala, if you can do the whole session, that would be very good. If not, when you do this chanting until you finish one mala, so that time then you cannot, if you have are coughing, no? Like throwing out your phlegm, and then or sneezing, if you do the sneezing, or sometimes the gas goes out, and then or you talk, or even chanting other mantras. Let's say you are chanting Om Mani Padme Hum mantra, and in between Vajraguru mantra or some Vajrakilaya mantra just pop in. Still, it's a distraction. So if it happens like that, then it is saying that you have to do the confession, and then looks like in the serious practices in front of you also there's the annotation purification water, so you have to wash your mouth with it. So anyhow, if you do not wash this, at least you have to repeat the mantra a few times to amend these mistakes and then do the practices. So basically then what you try to do is, so if you're chanting for, let's say, the long dharani 7 times or 21 times, so during that time, so you just try to do it as, perfect as possible without sneezing or coughing or even mixing with other mantras or other ordinary talks. So if possible, the whole mala, and the best would be the whole session if you don't talk, and that would be good. So this is the recommendation. And then, of course, engage in the vegetarian, take vegetarian. Karsum laten pezet nenchik badang je. Rani lame batar jas mig bas selvor charche je. Then when to start. So in this, the utensils that you need to use is longje ne kharadang aloma laktil namsu mizas. So he's saying that you don't use khar. Khar is kind of that ordinary. I don't know how to translate that. So ordinary utensils that's just made of and then not to eat on leaves, and not to even use your palm, keeping food in the palm and taking that. So it's not to do that. Mixel dos, and then zatum mijas chiwam chir. Oh, then one thing about this one, chutik chik chang. So during ngushi nin sepane mrache. So today when you just wake up, so from that onward, so you have to remain silent. Do nyachik dang chutik chik chang. Satung mijas, so not to take even 1 grain of food and even 1 drop of water. And then there is a talk about whether you can swallow your saliva or not. So according to Kongtrul Rinpoche, he says that there are 2 traditions. Chima chir boa dang mibowa langlen kangte langlen la tadebat ni dube rangni kangme tarjas. So this is explained here. So some says that during this today, you cannot even swallow your saliva. And in there's another tradition, saliva, if there's, you can spit out, or you can just not to spit out. So this is optional. So he's saying that however you want to do. Sometimes you don't swallow it, you can spit out, or you can just swallow the saliva is fine. So other than that, you cannot take the food or drink. So this part, I think many people ask the question whether you still can swallow your saliva or not. So he's saying that there are two ways of doing it, however you do, that's fine. And then today is saying that if you are doing by yourself, tarjas mixel mikbasel charju meba dhagi nguishi choga mraje jana legbe da chungu dunje. So today is saying that basically why we are chanting all these things is to have a clear visualization. It said that if you can really visualize yourself as a 1,000-arm Avalokiteshvara, then you don't need to chant all these things. So the chant master is jobless, So why we are chanting this is to have a clear visualization. It's saying that if you can have a clear visualization of Avalokiteshvara, then there's no need to chant this. You can just keep on visualizing Avalokiteshvara and then reciting the mantra. And if you do not have a clear visualization, let's say the 11 head, you don't know which color is in the middle, white, green, and red, and then another black, and then another red, so all those, so you just forget. So, and then how many arms, which arm is carrying what not, and all this. So that time, then you need to chant this. So when you are chanting this, so he's saying that you can chant at even slowly, not very loudly. So then, and then the third day, when you wake up, tomorrow, Jegin Langba Dang, Lugi Senbu Teba. Sel chirz chu dang lamo porba kangre tung. So he's saying that maybe, so tomorrow when you wake up, so there are all your the probiotics inside your stomach, maybe hungry, and so that time you have to drink 1 cup of warm water to begin to break your fast. It's talking about how you break your fast is first you take a cup of warm water, so that will be feeding all those that lives in your guts, all those organisms. Yeah, so this is how you should. Then you can take the food and all this, like in the first day, chelam gewadang and jam zangdala never jas, and then always your conduct has to be virtuous and very very gentle, and then also engage in keeping the hygiene or cleanliness is very important. Sungak okay, then also sungak pen jitar shepatam jin getupi bumchu las chatun yebe rangshen kyo kun gi tujashing Kongdu Tumadans, and then the bumpa that we have prepared. So that is saying that by chanting all these mantras and then the visualization, so it is blessed. So what you need is now you can drink this, and also Today you cannot. Today you can just wash it, not to take it. You can take this nectar from the bumba and just wash yourself. It's saying your head and then your arms. And also you can give this to others, teaching, then taking it. And neba las over two or jebadang, so you can give this to people who are sick. Dutegi ribadang, shiwi pungbo las over torwadang, so you can take this the bumchu, the water from this bumba, and then you sprinkle on the bones of those people who have died, and also sprinkle on the dead bodies. In that way it will be very helpful. Then Luthor dang yidagi chujin la soba says, then or is also saying that then if you have this sand mandala, sometimes usually sand mandala is put in the river. So here is saying that you can go on the top of the mountain, and then there you can also make these peels from this bumchu, and then on the mountain you can put it there, or if you have made the sand mandala you can put on the mountain, and then it said that all the breeze that falls on this peel and then the sand, so whoever gets connection with it can benefit. Jalala sobotan tell us some shindu to tell you to purchase in remote. So if you do that, it's saying the karchogi tutop jesing the ritowadang lam derjuwadang zilung poba kuns. So, or you can put it in a cross section of some, the traffic. So whoever comes in touch with this air, so it will be beneficial. Shiva songs, theater, like some number of Gone, Sojong, Nyungne. Nation, Chogat number JP Penis. So then the benefit of doing this sojong and also reciting this sadhana, Linga yisum gi deep dawadang. So your body, speech, and mind on the negative karma can be purified. Kalva shiti korwa chirnyal wadang for 40,000 kalpas, the samsara can be, the negative karma can be purified, or chirnilwa means you can, you'll not be born in, maybe you can say purified. Tsavitungwa shidang, tsammachipa nga dachang, jangwar sungba masit. So all this breaking of these 4 root downfalls, and then the 5 karma without intermediate state. So this 5 heinous karma can be purified by doing this Nyungne. Nekap nedin barche shiwa layang shen kang lechang tutup chewadang. So for the temporary benefit to cure, heal yourself from all this sickness, and also purify your karma, clear your obstacles. So in this case, then this Nyungne is very powerful. So in the Nyungne compiled by Tubzang Rinpoche, so he says that during this degenerating time, so in this degenerating time, is saying that to who is really practicing the Dharma, true Dharma practitioner is very rare. I usually say that true Dharma practitioners are becoming, what you said then, endangered species. really endangered species, no? Quenchings, kezo nyendu jiang mebar mela. So you haven't done any kind of retreat, and then recitation of mantra and all this mebar. Wanglong tamya medicine yidam ka guru pungso ki tordo jekul gi jimbal jindala penchung rangnit nyensong gi jusaba. And then if you do other kind of rituals and all this just to benefit all those sponsors, so he's saying that it may not benefit them, but you may go to the lower realms. Dele Nyungne gi jenang re shushing. So what you should do is now you should receive this jenang initiation of the Nyungne. Domba yenla jeba re Nyungne re rangnit ki sung rangnit ki deching. Chimba pomo namla de chuna. So if you practice this Nyungne, you yourself practice that, and then you let the lay practitioners practice this Nyungne. De chuna pen chewa pen chewa pen chewas jud de sungbatar. So he said in the tantra. So zur de sungbatar. So these are the benefit I said in the teachings. Tara lakpe kungi de kungi kenengi tamka manorwar shoes. So he's saying that which one is benefit, which one is not beneficial. So you should make good choice, right choice. So in this case, Tukutusan Rinpoche is saying that instead of now we are kind of running after Dzogchen practices, running after the inner Tantra practices and all this. Of course, if you can do it properly, it is of great benefit. But then if you cannot do that properly, cannot abide by the samayas, then is saying that more easy and effective, beneficial way of doing the, the Dharma is in this degenerating time. He says that Nyungne is the best. So what he is saying is, don't think that this is just an outer Tantra practice. This is not the highest teaching or whatsoever. If it is the highest teaching, and if you are not able to retain or to do all those practices, then even though the teaching is high, and if you are not able to keep up with it, then there's not much of benefit. But this Nyungne is saying it's a very simple, easy to practice, and so if you do this Nyungne in the degenerating time, so it is very beneficial. Okay. Then, so maybe our page numbers are different, and let me get them. So anyhow, when you do this refuge and bodhicitta, so what you should visualize is, in this commentary, is saying that you should, commentary or, God. So I cannot find. So what it is, so that time is saying that you have to visualize Buddha Shakyamuni surrounded by all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and in front of them, then you you're taking refuge, and then generating bodhicitta. So we don't have much. So then in this practice itself, so there are, you can think that up to this one is the preparation. Then the actual practice, also there is the preparation part, and then the actual practice. So in the preparation part, again, you do this Om Soba Shuddha Sarvadhamma Soba Shuddha Hang, which is dissolving all phenomena into emptiness. And then the first part is to bless, nekang jingilaba, is to bless the place where you are practicing. So they tenitam jiyongzo with rinchen shelme kangba yong waras. So that is blessing the place where you are practicing. You shouldn't, as I said yesterday, you shouldn't think that you are practicing in a small apartment or just in a ordinary house. The purpose of Mahayana Vajrayana practice is to get rid of this impure perception. Impure perception means to see that everything is made out of rocks, cement, and then all this sheet rock, and then whatever kind of building materials that is being used. So you don't take it as ordinary. You just have to think it as a pure, in the form of it's called the Tharpa Chembushekan. It's the celestial palace of liberation, free from attachment. So then you're visualizing yourself as Avalokiteshvara. In this case, it's not mentioning whether it is 11,000 arms or 4 arms or 1 arm, 2 arms Avalokiteshvara. So I usually say that if the text is not very clear, then you can use whichever you are familiar with. So maybe you can use either visualize 2-arm Avalokiteshvara or 4-arm Avalokiteshvara yourself. And then in front of you, you invite Lama as the 11-head, 1,000-arm Avalokiteshvara. And then after that, you're blessing this. Basically, in this case, you're doing the 7-branch prayer and then the blessing these offering substances. When you're blessing these offering substances, that is now Jangtok Parsum is kind of purifying, increasing. So you have to first purify that and do not have any kind of impure perception. And then transform that into nectar. And then multiply this. Not just this offering is just kind of filling one table, or we have brought some few flowers from Walmart or whatever. So you have to multiply that, filling that whole space. It is also made from that's why when you're blessing that, it's saying Vajra. And the Bandar Pushpe is saying that it's a Vajra flower. It's not an ordinary flower that will fade away with her in 1 week or 2 weeks. We have to think about its pure nature, transform that into emptiness or into a Vajra flower, and then multiply that. So filling the whole space, it should be very pure and elaborate, as grand as possible. So whatever kind of the offering that we have in front of us is called mikten. It's kind of support our visualization. If you have few candles there, then that gives you the support. So you can multiply that into millions, trillions, billions of them, And like that, all this fruit and all this, you can multiply that. And so in that way, you have to bless these offerings. And then doing the 7-branch prayer as a preparation part of it. And then in the actual practice, so again from emptiness, you visualize yourself as Avalokiteshvara. as you have here. And then so I'm going to skip these visualizations. You visualize yourself as the so So we have different versions. Now we are keeping on updating our version again and again. So maybe now is 14, lots of versions. So maybe we are not on the same page. But if you have downloaded the latest version, so I'm is on page 42. If you then you darna jemban you vessel karbo toward jurors. So then so you visualize yourself as much as you can as the Avalokiteshvara, and that too. Then you see that it is actually your Buddha nature arisen as the compassionate Avalokiteshvara. So this is what you should think in a simple way to understand it. Otherwise, then de tukar vezal karbo towards de tukar daviting. So at his heart center, upon the moon disk, Shri Karbo Vezirgi Potalanit Chenresi Kornan Jepa Chendang Jurs. After visualizing yourself as Avalokiteshvara, then you may think that, oh, I'm not Avalokiteshvara. Avalokiteshvara is somewhere in Potala, somewhere in pure realm. So to get rid of that, your doubt or kind of hesitation, then we do the invitation of the wisdom deity. So from that three-syllable light radiates and goes to Potala and invite Avalokiteshvara with his complete entourage, Chendang Jurus. So when it is invited, it's saying that it just comes close to you and not really dissolving in you. So then, so to him, then Bandar Argampadam Bibitu Alokanda. So that time, then from your heart, again is saying light radiates in the form of all these offering goddesses and then making offering to the Avalokiteshvara that you have just invited. Then you're praising Avalokiteshvara. Again, when you're making this offering, it's not that Avalokiteshvara needs the offering. It's just a way of getting rid of your attachment, or also way of accumulating merit. And then when you're praising Avalokiteshvara, it doesn't mean that Avalokiteshvara will be happy if you praise him. So it is to remember the enlightened qualities of Avalokiteshvara. So you're praising him by praising him. And then when you say Da Hung Bam Ho Nisume Parjur, so with this Da Hung Bam Ho is the mantra of summoning. So you summoned and then dissolve. So that time when you say Da Hung Bam Ho, then the invited wisdom deity dissolves into the Samaya Sattva that you are visualizing. then it rang it near some to yigisum temperature, and then to symbolize the your the primordial essence of your body, speech, and mind. Then you take the vajra also. Then touch on your forehead, throat, and heart on our homes. Then after that, five Buddhas comes and give you the empowerment and all this. Then it's kind of you're reinforced with the blessing of the five Buddha families, with which you receive the empowerment. All the nectar goes in you, and then the excess of the nectar comes up and then forms the five Buddha families on your crown. Then on page 44, Rangi tukar pede ting yeshe sembe ngo nit tuje chembo changang wa te tukar ting is in semba shi karbole wezir trowe dipjang ne tuje chembo kurjo de surdu trila temperature. So this part is the main visualization that you should maintain. So at your heart. So again, in that case, it's also in the Kongtrul Rinpoche's commentary is also not saying whether that Avalokiteshvara is and how many arms he has. It just says Jo Tuje Chembo. So maybe you can you use either 1,000 arm Avalokiteshvara or small. The size should be the size of your half of your thumb, very small. So in this case, when you do the meditation, if the focus point is smaller, then it takes more kind of concentration to do the meditation. So that's called Yeshe Sempa. And at the heart of that small Avalokiteshvara, then you're visualizing that white tree. At the heart, there's again a moon disk. On that moon disk, you visualize the Sri syllable, a white Sri syllable. That's called thing is in Sempa, Sempa Sumtek. So do you have yourself as a 1,000-arm Avalokiteshvara, and at your heart, another Avalokiteshvara, at the heart of that Avalokiteshvara, a Sri syllable. And then what you should visualize is so the light radiates, purifying the obscurations of all sentient beings. So all the sentient beings, they are purified, and then all of them become Avalokiteshvara, and who become the embodiment of the great compassionate one. And then all of this Avalokiteshvara, again you invite and dissolves in you. So with that, in your trying your best to visualize in that way, then you chant this mantra. And then when you're chanting the mantra, in this case, there's no garland of mantra or what's, it just light radiates from your from the Sri syllable and chanting the mantra. And sometimes in the Kongtrul Rinpoche's compilation, it says that you can also arrange the mantra around the Sri syllable. It's saying that the face should be towards your left. So it's not saying to circle it, you just arrange them, around the Sri syllable and chant it. There's not like in other tradition where the mantra goes in clockwise or counterclockwise, circling. And then when you chant this mantra, of course, to chant this to the perfect is important. As we do the confession also, you try to chant the mantra. The pronunciation has to be correct. But then when Buddhism came to Tibet, the Sanskrit that was used, according to the scholars, I don't know the Sanskrit, so they say that in the northern India, especially around that time, the Kashmir was very, the Buddhist center. And they also say that there is a grammar, Sanskrit grammar, I think Panini. So that must be compiled, I don't know when, but maybe around 10th or 11th century, we have to find out. So that time looks like the Sanskrit got standardized. So basically what I'm trying to say is that there's a Sanskrit which was there before the Panini was composed, and after it was composed. So after composition, then how it was pronounced became different. So the mantra that Tibetans chant is saying that it's according to, it was before that. That's why instead of cha cha ja, we have tsa tsa za, still have that, So anyhow, what I sometimes my frustration of not being able to chant this mantra properly or even to edit this mantra properly is I usually say that Darcharwa's story is very uplifting for me. So maybe you have heard that Darcharwa's story many times. So it said that one time in Tibet there was a great yogi, Vajrakilaya yogi, and what he did was he chanted the Vajrakilaya mantra and he was able to accomplish the practice. But he chanted the Vajrakilaya instead of saying Bandar Kili Kilaya, he said Bandar Chili Chilaya. So he said that Bandar Chili Chilaya, and then he did his practice and he was able to have the vision of all the Vajrakilaya. He could even put his dragger on the rock as if like the purpa on the rock, as if that you're putting the purpa in the butter. And then one day it happened that he came nearby Saja Pandita. And Saja Pandita heard him saying, instead of saying Om Bandar Kili Kilaya, then he was saying Om Bandar Chili Chilaya. So Saja Pandita thought he should correct it, And then he said, oh, you're chanting wrong. It should be Bandar Kili Kilaya. So he chanted Bandar Kili Kilaya correctly and then tried to use his purpa to step on the stone. It made a big sound, and then even the tip of the purpa became crooked. So he got so mad at Saja Pandita and said, no, I chanted before also Bandar Chili Chilaya, and I'm going to chant again as Chili Chilaya, and then he stepped that on the stone and it went in. So looks like pronunciation is important, but not completely necessary. So there's a big uplifting story for us who cannot pronounce properly. So what is really important is the devotion, then your pure view, compassion. So these are the important part of the practice, So this language, in one sense, is made up by our human beings. It's whether you're speaking a perfect Sanskrit is also made by our conceptual mind, or imperfect, everything is just a human being have just made up. So it is a conceptual, language is a conceptual construct. So the whole purpose of the Dharma is to deconstruct this conceptualization. So in that case, then what we need is, we need devotion, compassion, and the pure view, sense of renunciation. So these are the true Dharma. So basically, of course, we should try to do our best to pronounce it to the best we can. Then if you cannot, then we shouldn't forget the main part of the Dharma. So that, I think, is very important. And one thing is, now in this commentary by J. Koncho Yenla, so he gives, maybe he was a Sanskrit scholar too, he explains all these mantras. So I'm going to try to explain that mantra in this case and conclude this session of the long Dharani mantra. So he gives explanation to some of it, but not completely. So I'm using another version. So Namo Ratnatayaya is saying, I bow down to the three jewels. Namo is to bow down. Ratna is jewel. Taya is maybe three. Ya is two. So I bow down to the three jewels. So what it means is now, when you are chanting this Avalokiteshvara mantra, so in Avalokiteshvara is Buddha, Avalokiteshvara is Dharma, Avalokiteshvara is Sangha, Avalokiteshvara is your Lama. So like that, Avalokiteshvara is a complete package, you know, 3 in 1. So this is what you're trying to see, not just an Avalokiteshvara, one individual deity. So in Avalokiteshvara, all the object of refuge is present in him. Lama Yidam Khando is present in Avalokiteshvara, then Buddha Dharma Sangha is present in Buddha Avalokiteshvara. So like that, then you should remember his qualities. Then Nama Arya Jana Sagara is Nama again being said Namo and Nama. So again this all this how to say the tense and all this maybe again Nama is also homage. Then I bow to the ocean of Arya's exalted wisdom. Arya is the noble. And Jana is the wisdom, Sagara is ocean. So in this case he's saying, I'm paying homage to Avalokiteshvara. When we think about Avalokiteshvara, maybe we just think about compassion. So it's not only the compassion and wisdom never separates. So he has that complete, the wisdom of the Buddha. So he is completely enlightened, but he is taking the form of a bodhisattva. So he's in simple language would be, and he's an enlightened bodhisattva, not an unenlightened bodhisattva who is working towards enlightenment. Not like that. He's completely enlightened. That's why his wisdom is like the ocean of wisdom. And then Berotana, so that's the Buddha Vairocana. In this case, he belongs to the Tathagata family. So the head of the Lord of the Tathagata Buddha family is Buddha Vairocana. And then Janasagar, this one is Bayuha or Vayuha, so that we have to find out. According to, it looks like it should be in between Vayuha Rajaya. So he is the king, and then the king of the marvelous manifestation of Vairocana. So in this case, he is the manifestation of the Buddha Vairocana. Then Tathagataya, that is thus, Dejin Shekpa, that's thus gone one. Arhate, so that's the four destroyer, he is the Arhat. Samyak Sambuddhaya is now perfectly complete Buddha, so he's Buddha, as I was saying earlier. He's not a bodhisattva, he's completely enlightened, and he's just taking the form of bodhisattva. Perfectly complete Buddha. And then Nama, again I'm bowing down. Sarva Tathagata Be, so I bow down to all the dusk gone one. Arhate, again to all the Arhate base, to all those four destroyers, Arhats. Samyak Sambuddhayas, that's again perfectly and completely completed Buddhas, to all the Buddhas. Again, bowing down, Nama Arya Avalokite Shoraya. So then now bowing down to Avalokiteshvara by his name, Arya Avalokiteshvara. Bodhisattva, so again bowing down to Bodhisattva, he is a Bodhisattva. Then Mahasatoya, and then to the great Bodhisattva. So in this case, it's saying that he's completely enlightened, but he's taking the form of Bodhisattva, the great compassionate one. Or all the compassion of Buddhas have emanated as Avalokiteshvara. Then Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Mahakaru Nikayaj. Then he is a great, that Karuna is compassion, the great compassionate one. So he, the great heroic being who is endowed with great compassion. So that's Entayatha. Sanskrit ways of it, that Dhyatha or something, they say something like that. And now Tibetan way of saying is Theatha. So it is thus, that is, thus it is, so it is the truth. Om, so Om is used here. Om, according to some other explanation, the Om is itself is the mantra of auspiciousness. And also in this Om, so there are 5 kind of parts that which symbolizes 5 wisdom mind, and Om, so symbolizing body, speech, and mind. So this Om itself has a complete, again, explanation in Buddhism too. It is being chanted by Hindus a lot, but in Buddhism also, Om is also considered one of a very sacred mantra, which is infused with 5 wisdom mind and 3 kayas, like that. Om Daradara Diri Diri is saying that now Daradara is holding it. So you are asking, through his compassion, you are asking him to hold you in his compassion. You will hold. Then Daradara Diri Diri. So hold, asking you to hold. Then iti viti is maybe then hold, do hold. So dara dara diri diri duru duru. So all this is asking you to Avalokiteshvara to hold us in his compassion. Then iti viti is I request the power through your power. Tale tale is move, to move us towards enlightenment. Then tratale is now thoroughly move. So completely move us. Kind of away from this cyclic existence. Then kusume is holding, you who holds a flower. Kusume, holding the flower. Kusumaware is now hold an offering flower. So holding the flower, so in his hand he has that flower, no? That I'm talking about. Then Ilimili, so that is translated as method and wisdom. Then Titi, maybe that's the guru. So, Zola is now burned with mind. Titi Zola, or Titi is mind, sorry. Zola, so burned with mind. So burned with mind, maybe the burned with compassion, wisdom. Mapanaye is now, may it be removed. So it, all the negativities. So swaha is like, may it be like that. So this is the kind of the meaning of, roughly the meaning of Avalokiteshvara's Dharani. Basically, when you're chanting this mantra, then what you should see is then the deity that you're visualizing, the mantra that you're chanting, and then the essence of your mind. So it has to be seen as the modulation, different aspects. So wisdom mind of Avalokiteshvara can sometimes manifest as the form. In this case, we have this 11 head, 1,000 arm Avalokiteshvara. Sometimes that form can manifest as the wrathful form is Haryagriva, and sometimes with all these different colors and a different manifestation. So that wisdom mind can manifest as the form, and sometimes the wisdom mind can manifest as the mantra. So whether you know the meaning of the mantra or not, the essence of it is to see hanga chunigi rolba. So that ha, nga, and chunit, the dharmata has to be seen as one essence, and then try to chant the mantra. So in that way, if you get the essence of what you are chanting, then knowing the meanings of this mantra is not that much emphasized. I usually say that before I came to America, I never bothered to know the meaning of these mantras. I just chanted it. The first time when I came here, somebody asked me what's the meaning of 100-syllable mantra. So I had to go back, and that time I didn't know how to Google it. So I had to look up, over all those books to find out the meaning of the mantra. So like that, in Tibet, the meaning of the mantra was not that much emphasized. Basically, if you chant that with devotion, compassion, and right view, then whether you know the meaning or not, the product, the result, you will get that for sure. So with that, having that right mindset is very important. So with that, then let's chant the mantra and do these practices. Okay, so that's all for now. So today I'm very fortunate I can talk, but you guys cannot talk. But there's no one to answer, to communicate with me, right? So let's communicate with Avalokiteshvara and then do the chantings. Then recently, I saw a quotation from Milarepa, Chöchirkawa Chebala, Sonam Pautu Meba Gös. So which is very, I think it was kind of a wake-up call for me. Then it makes sense, to practice Dharma. Why we are not able to practice Dharma properly is we do not have enough merit. It's not like we do not have enough energy. It's not that we don't have enough time. We have enough time to go on Facebook, enough time to go on WeChat, enough time to Google, but we don't have enough time to practice. That is exactly what Milarepa said. To do Dharma, you need merit. So that's why we are not able to do that. And then when you're practicing Dharma, in my case, then I sit down and try to chant. After 10, 15 minutes, then my mind becomes either too active or sluggish, sleepy. But then when I watch it, the soccer, so I'm fully alert. Or when I watch the movies, so I'm completely alert. I don't feel sleepy. I don't need caffeine. I don't need anything. So then I thought that, Milarepa have really said it correctly. So it's not that we don't have energy. It's not that we don't have time. It's that we lack merit. Because of that reason, we are not able to practice the Dharma properly. So that's why we are trying to enhance our merit. If we have merit, then we will be able to go through the hardship of practicing Dharma, like Milarepa did that. And in this way, today, Maybe you will feel thirsty, maybe you will feel hungry, maybe you will feel tired, but remember that to work hard for the Dharma, you need immeasurable merit. So thinking in that way, then if you take this hardship, which is not very long, it's just, tomorrow morning, you'll a big breakfast will be waiting for you. So it's not like you have to fast for days and months. So if you do that with right motivation, definitely then you will have this enthusiasm. So with enthusiasm, then thinking about benefiting yourself, benefiting others, and having that bodhicitta, then do these practices. Okay, thank you. Then let's do the dedication.
Suto gayo membava, subo gayo membava, anurado membava, sarva siddhi membrayata, sarva karma sutta. Siddham jiriyam guru hum ha 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 hu bhagava, sarvanda tangata benzam, mamem munzam benzam bhava ma sama sando.